What's good, YouTube, and welcome to another KaibaHacksDartz Yu-Gi-Oh video. And today we are back with our Dungeon Dice Monsters Remake, Remaster, Recreation series, and this is part 3, the figures, the miniatures, whatever you like to call them. And this is a pretty simple process, but I did go a little bit more in depth on how to make them a little bit more fancy in another video where it was just how to make D&D miniatures from Yu-Gi-Oh cards and such. I'll leave the link to that video in the description if you want to see some more kind of in-depth detail, but this will be how to make them more specifically for Dungeon Dice Monsters and the process. So we're going to take whatever card you want to make a miniature for, and this is going to be an extra copy of that card, and you're going to cut it out. You're just going to make sure you leave the border around the card art in place. I apologize if I go off camera. But just like that, you're just going to go around, make sure you leave that border. And of course, the more you take your time and such, the better it's going to turn out. But for demonstrational purposes, we'll kind of speed along while still trying to maintain some of its essence here. So say, yeah, Karibo is a Dungeon Dice monster, a Japanese one, so this will maybe come in handy in future episodes and such. But we do have the Karibo cutout now, so it's just the card art. Now, if you do want to, you can take a second one and cut it out and put it on the back in the same place and, you know, glue them together, Mod Podge or whatever, to keep them together. But I find one's fine. In the future, if I was to go real hard, or if I'm playing this a lot, you know, double side them up for convenience sake. Then you're going to take some foam board, cardboard, whatever, cut out a 1 inch by 1 inch square, and then put a line down the middle of it. Now you're basically going to cut with whatever box cutter or knife, not all the way through, but through one side's paper, or kind of at least the majority of one side, while trying to keep on your line there. This one's just for demonstrational purposes, obviously, so if I mess up, it's not that big of a deal. But you don't want to go through, you just kind of almost want to score it out and kind of get these edges here, because that's where it's going to hold you back a lot, and then you're just going to fold it in half. Now you can try and obviously get this as perfect as well, but it's not too big of a deal if it's not, and then you can tear off little excess pieces and whatever you want to kind of clean it up. Then you are going to take your Mod Podge and black paint, or if you want to get fancier with it, like I've maybe done with this Avion, which isn't a Dungeon Dice monster, but obviously I've done a little bit of, you know, decoration up on there, like I've said. You can check out the other video for more kind of details on that if you'd like. But you're going to take this piece and Mod Podge with black, mix it up, cover it, you know, let it dry, and you're going to end up with this. Then you're also going to take a washer, maybe a nickel, and make it black as well. Now these are essentially your pieces to make your figure. You're going to take your cut piece here and kind of hot dog it out. And then you're going to take a glue gun, which we have ready to the side here, and put a line of glue, not too much, not too little. Let me see if I can actually get some to come out here. Ooh, that might be a little too much, but it's not that big of a deal, like I said. This is just kind of a demonstrational one. Could have kind of refilled my glue gun to make it a bit better. Kind of clean our hands up. Get the Karibo, line it up so it's in the middle, and stick it in. And then you're just going to close this around the base of it, so the card is basically down to the bottom of this, essentially, but still in place. So you can maybe push them over a little bit. And there you go. You do have your figure. Still got a string on them. We're ghosting them. But there you go. That's basically the figure. And then you're going to take your quarter or a nickel or whatever you're using, or a washer that you've painted as well. Let dry. Put that to the side. Get some glue in the center base. And then apply it as well. depending on your coins and such. Obviously, this could be magnetic, so, or washers or whatever you use. So this could also be, you know, stuck onto something as well, or, you know, not magnetic, but, you know, will stick to a magnet. So that is basically it. We can kind of apply pressure, obviously, to even that out. And the top isn't too bad with the kind of excess that's come up. You can try and remove that. If not, not too big of a deal. But that is essentially your figure. And we basically repeated that process for the starter set, like we've said. So we have our Vorse Raider, our Thunderball, our Gearfried, as well as our Buster Blader. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. We do have Arm Ninja instead of Strike Ninja right now, just because I don't have a Strike Ninja place of him. But I figure he works good enough with the card art, and we haven't, you know, necessarily finished the rest yet, so it's not that big of a deal. And for Knight of Twin Swords, since he isn't actually a Yu-Gi-Oh card, I figured I could maybe do a print-off for him for card art. But if I do want to kind of keep it the same size and keep to similar ideas, and if we have to do it a lot, I figure we could just stick to similar things. So this is Twin Sword Marauder, which you could just use in place of Knight of Twin Swords, you know what I mean? For certain things, you can just kind of remember. You'd be like, okay, he's Twin Swords, Knight of Twin Swords, you know what I mean? So we do have our essential lineup. Like I said, this one does need to be replaced. He's kind of our proxy of a proxy for a miniature. But those are our main ones. And then for our Monster Lord, you could basically use anything, because obviously it's just representing you, because the Monster Lord is you, if you know it's good. So I've used a Dream Clown, and I just made a second one just as a, you know, default, just in case, you know, I don't have someone or one ready up for whoever may be playing with me. So the Dream Clown just kind of worked. I figured it also kind of looks like the Monster Lord a bit. He's kind of jestery, clowny, dunce-cappy looking, so I figured that fits in. So those are our Monster Lords and our main set, or main starter set of 6. So we've officially recreated the figures, and of course the bases will fit. It's a 1" by 1" square into the place, but Dungeon Dice Monsters do have circular bases, so you could always just cut them into circles instead and do the same process, put a line down the middle, fold them in half. I figured the square is good enough, and that way you can just kind of, you know, they're wider, they have a bit more of a stance to them. They're a bit heavier to replace, you know, what the figure would actually be. But like I said, if you want to see how to make it a little bit more detailed, or you're making it for something else maybe, check out my my D&D kind of miniature making video, Yu-Gi-Oh miniature video, sorry, where I explain it a bit more. And of course, if you did need to or want to, you can double it up and put one on the back, so you have double-sided. It's a little easier to know which ones you're using while you're playing, but I figure it's not too bad, and you're gonna know, especially with the starter set. So if there's any ideas you think I can use to improve this, let me know. And you know, if you liked it, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I think this works in terms of the figures. So we got the dice and the figures worked out pretty much 100%, at least finished. So that's 1/3 of the way. So let me know how you're liking this series so far, and if you have any ideas for some of the stuff we've done already to improve them, or future stuff, you know, like the dungeon pieces, and or, you know, the dungeon actual layout, the dungeon mat, you know, all that stuff, the crest counter, whatever. If you have any ideas for that stuff to make it on the cheap for the everyday person, like I said, these are basically nothing. You're just using foam board, a little bit of hot glue, you know, a nickel or a washer or whatever, and whatever card. So as long as it's not something too expensive, you can just use kind of your commons or whatever. As long as you're not going in on something that only had a limited print, you know, some King's Court stuff, hint, hint. But other than that, like I said, let me know if there's anything else you want to see improved on these, other than maybe the double-sided. And you could always custom shatter foil them, like I've done in our one video, to make them a bit more shiny or whatever, but I've just kind of chosen, you know, like the Thunderball, it's, you know, Gearfried. They have the rarityness to be that looking shiny. Like I said, though, other than that, make sure to check out my other content where I'm doing more of these videos, one every couple days, hopefully, as well as other stuff, deck profiles, deck updates, card openings, all that kind of stuff, other Yu-Gi-Oh! DIY projects, future stuff coming, as well as just the rest of the Dungeon Dice Monster series. So like I said, make sure to do all that fun stuff, like, comment, share, and subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and otherwise, thanks for watching. Peace.